Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, Chris, why are you yelling? Are you angry? And the answer is no. I am not angry. I'm actually pretty happy. And if you did wonder why we weren't streaming yesterday, well, you should have watched Friday's episode, because I explained that it was Memorial Day. Even though I didn't really need to explain that to you, that's the reason I took a break. Even though I didn't really take a break, I still worked. I was still doing things largely here in my workshop. So thank you for joining us live. It's been a rather interesting past 3 days. I've got a bit of news and some other things to share with you today, including the fact that we're now up to 827 patrons as of right now. I'm very happy to see that, and I can tell you why we jumped 20 over the weekend, not just because it was a holiday. If you want to become a patron for bonuses, you can head over to chrispirillo.com right now, and yes, PayPal is accepted. The reason why we got the jump is because we had uploaded the What's on My iPad 2014 to YouTube. It was a condensed version, kind of like just the highlights, not even all the highlights, really. We took 10% of the half-hour video, uploaded it, well, I guess it was less than 10%. Sorry about that. You didn't even get 10% of the clip, uploaded it to YouTube, gave people a lot of giggles and laughter, and said, if you want to watch the full version, you can become a patron. And some people got upset at that. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you getting upset? We gave you something for free. That's not enough? I guess not. I'd imagine in my head, these are the same people who walk into a Starbucks and demand a free coffee. You owe me a coffee because I walked into the Starbucks and demand a free coffee. Can't do that. Diana will laugh at you. I'm serious, man. Well, I could make the coffee at home. Okay. Make it. So this was enough to bring a few more patrons in, and we're very, very grateful that that happened. I'll be doing my next drunk video, likely a look at the Surface PC, when we reach 900 patrons, which hopefully will not happen too much longer from now. It won't. Hopefully it'll happen soon. That's what I meant to say as I tripped over my words. Although I've got to call to your attention some bits of news. Yes, I was reading reviews done by people I trust and real true users who are going to give me the straight scoop, including one that you might know from Penny Arcade and another one from the New York Times. And in each one of these reviews, they were talking about the Surface Pro 3, you know, the one that was just released, and they wanted to love it. And the way that they wrote their reviews they were positive. I mean, they were saying, you know, the hardware's this, and wow, it's that, and it could do this. And then when they actually started talking about how they were using it, like, to me, like, showstoppers. Like, there's no possible way you could come close to recommending this product. And they didn't. They basically said, well, here's what it is, and here's the problem I had with it. Like, there was I guess a word that Microsoft coined. I think it's a great word, lapability. You know, the ability to put, you know, a computer on your lap and use it. Well, it's one of the things that Microsoft advertises. Well, in the New York Times, the way she explained it, very artfully, she created her own word of like what happens when that the edge of the kickstand digs into your legs. There's a word for that, because that's what happens. The kickstand digs into your legs, and you end up with this impression of like, ugh. And that's generally had been the experience, including with one of the Penny Arcade guys. He was explaining how he uses it to draw, and you know, he uses the pen, the new pen or stylus that they sell. I don't think it comes with the Surface at this point. I think it's an accessory. You know, all these add-ons like a keyboard and you know, or a stylus or what have you. So anyway, he was explaining that when he was trying to use it, they placed the Windows button in such a way where he would just accidentally brush it, and it would kick him out of the program. I'm like. And he even explained, I'm like, this, I can't do this. So when you look at actual use cases and the user experience, I mean, that's not to say it's a bad product. I think it's a good product in theory if you use it the right way. But the problem is if there's a right way to use something, it's probably not engineered as well as it could have been engineered. And I think many companies have learned this lesson, not just Microsoft. So I'm not, you know, anxious to see other reviews of the Surface Pro 3 because I want to look beyond specs. I'm anxious to hear from you if you got the Surface Pro 3 after you've had a chance to use it in a variety of situations, and really give me your take. Not just the good, but the bad and the ugly and the beautiful and the bold and the... Wait, that was a soap opera, wasn't it? The bold and the beautiful. So anyway, I just, I can't pass judgment on it because I don't have it. I can only go through other people's experiences. I've been happy enough with the Surface Pro 2, but I've never used it as they've designed, like, you can put it in your lap. I don't want to put it, I just don't want to put a laptop. Yes, it's got a sturdy bottom. I can set that on my lap. That's fine. I don't want a kickstand on my lap. I just think that's it's not a good idea for a lap. But anyway, those 2 reviews were posted. I guess I could put the link for those in the video description as well. If you want free crap, fine, I'll go back to that. Modus is kicked up its Geekstakes once again. They've run the Geekstakes through my channel for the past 2 years. This year, they're running it through other YouTube channels, including Austin Evans. You met Austin.
Yeah, super nice.
Very nice in real life. And on YouTube, he's a total prick. No, he's not. He's like one of those very few people that he's like comes across one way and you meet him in real life like, hey, it's the same guy. He's probably nicer on you. No, he's nicer in real life than he's on YouTube, and he's a total jerk on YouTube. It's me being sarcastic in case anybody missed that. And Linus Sebastian, they're running primarily through their channels, but I wanted to direct your attention that way because they're giving away all sorts of good stuff. The link for you to sign up for the Geekstakes is in this video's description. For the first time, tablet PC panel shipments have declined year after year. First time, year after year. So it's not just a year, a dip, and then back up again. It's declining. So tablet shipments, tablet PC panel shipments have declined year after year. For a lot of different reasons. One, now everybody seems to have a tablet. 2, you've got a tablet, and how long is it going to last you? In fact, today we were in an office supply store, and I'll get into that as to why in a second, and we walked past a couple of Chromebooks. Now, Diana has enjoyed her Chromebook. In fact, I think we should do a video of your Chromebook review, and I think people would like that. They'd like to see your take. You're really an average user. I consider you an average user. You're above average for a wife, but for a user, you're right in the middle, and that's exactly who the Chromebooks are targeting. And we were walking past a couple, like $200, $300, and you asked, and I'm sorry, Diana's behind the camera right now. She asked, well, how long would it last? I said, for years. I mean, Chrome OS is always up to date, and most people who are using Chrome OS or a Chromebook don't really need the system for more than surfing the web, checking email, doing social. And that's exactly what she uses it for. And for her, it's fine. Why spend $1,000 on a laptop computer or a tablet if you don't want to touch it? You just want to do some just general laptop things. $200. That's it. Nice big screen, nice keyboard, a good system that's always up to date. The Chromebooks are, to me, I think they're huge winners. For the average user out there, as far as laptops are concerned, even though Microsoft said that they're not quote-unquote real laptops.
And I have a MacBook Pro, but I grabbed the Chromebook.
That's right. She had the MacBook Pro, but she always grabs the Chromebook. It's just easier. Mm-hmm. It's not even faster, even. It's slower than the MacBook Pro, but it's just quote-unquote better for her needs. So I just thought that was interesting, really. But, tablet PC panel shipments declining doesn't surprise me. People, you get an iPad 2. Let's say you've had an iPad 2 for a number of years. Why would you upgrade to the new one? I mean, it's nicer screen, yeah, and it's faster, but in terms of your actual use, I mean, are you really going to see that much of a benefit? And I don't know if I would necessarily see any compelling use cases to upgrade older iPads to a newer iPad, unless you wanted something, the best that's available in terms of hardware and specs. But I think the one thing that's going to possibly drive iPad upgrade adoption would likely be the integration of Touch ID, and I can't see that as a technology that would only be available in the iPhone series line for iOS devices from Apple. But I just think the industry is slowing down. I think they're still selling, absolutely, but once you have a tablet, what's the point of getting another? So you can have one in the bathroom? I mean, they're nice. It's nice to get a new system and to trade your old systems in, but I think the market's been flooded with tablets, and most of them suck. I'm just gonna say it. They suck. You can buy one for $100. Is it great? Now they're okay. They're getting better, but I just don't know if we've hit our peak with tablet usage in terms of their place in our lives. I mean, I use the tablet computer here every day in TLDR. I've got my notes here that I have synchronized between all my systems. Led by Apple, iPhone, smartphones now account for 87%. Oh, I'm sorry. Led by Apple, the iPhone out of smartphones now account for 87%. Oh, God bless. Can I write? Apparently I can't write. New research from Counterpoint says that 87% of US handsets are smartphones. Apple is the biggest chunk of those smartphones. Samsung follows shortly thereafter, and then it goes down from there. But that's a big deal. 87% penetration of smartphones. That's awesome. I don't know if we ever reached that with PCs, with quote-unquote traditional computers. You know, these are very powerful systems, and I've said that before. These pocket computers, PCs, are very, very powerful. And I know that they can't do everything. I don't need this pocket computer to do everything, but it's just fascinating to me to know that we've now hit 87% market penetration. That's astounding. That's telling too. They're easy to use. Just about any smartphone these days, they're easy to use. They do everything that I used to need other hardware to do for me. Take pictures, scan documents, check email. Now it's just an all-in-one device, and it's one of the best all-in-one devices that has ever been produced. The smartphone, more so than the tablet. I think the smartphone is more powerful than the tablet in terms of use, because we might have the tablet on us, but we absolutely have the smartphone on us. Come on. Do you ever turn around to go home because you forgot your tablet? No, you turn around to go home because you forgot your phone. You know? I mean, usually. I mean, there are some oddballs out there saying, I left my tablet at home. Sorry, I'm not... If that's you, I'm not making fun of you, but I kind of am. But I'm not really. But I kind of am. But that's okay, because you can make fun of me, too. I am now going to move into some more product view. I actually bought this, sorry, on Amazon. I could have purchased it for cheaper, but then I would have had to pay shipping. The first... Sorry, did you hear that? Wicket was scratching underneath the desk there. Kind of freaked me out. Star Wars, Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir. I've now read it. It was a really quick read, not to be confused with Reddit. But the art in this comic is, to me, breathtaking. I love the way Dark Horse, or specifically these artists, illustrated this story. Can't wait for the second installment. And I think most interesting about this particular comic, and this is probably something that seems to be going throughout a Dark Horse series, I'm not a fan of seeing these things in comic books, but I thought this was amazing. I wrote that. Writing, creating, telling stories, celebrating women in comics. And I love this, if only because, you know, comic books and the fascination with the world of fantasy isn't just for guys, isn't just for males. You know, females and women and girls can play along too. This is not, to me at least, you know, when I look at someone, I don't classify them as, well, you have to be a male to do this. This is a male thing, this is a female thing. I'm like, no, dude, it's a geek thing, it's a nerd thing. And I think that's astounding for a Dark Horse to have done that. Which reminds me, in the vlog today, we published something. There was a girl... Gotta pull this out. Marta Stahlfeld, darkwoodsbooks.com. The girl was, 18 years old, 20 years old? She's written 2 books. Not even 21. Can't even drink. Written 2 books. And is working on a third. And, I mean, just astounding. She recognized my Darth Vader hoodie and she took a picture of me with the camera on her phone. And I said, wait, this is you? She's an author. A 2 times published author. And she's 20 years old. Astounding. You want to talk about inspiration. So, you know, I thought it was amazing to see that. From someone that you would never have expected to have written 2 books. God, at that age, most people haven't even read a full blog post, let alone written a book. But 2. Astounding.
And she's working on the 3rd one.
The 3rd one she's working on. I am a writer by trade. I don't know if I'd ever mentioned this. I wrote a book. It needs to be edited big time. I would need to revisit it because my writing skills back then were not as sharp. I had some good ideas. And let me put it this way. When I wrote the book, we had DOS. That was it. And I wrote it in a word processor. Webster's? I want to say Webster's had a word processor back in the day. I loved it because it had it built into the source. I learned so many new words with the source. I don't write so much anymore. I do write, but not like that. Not creatively like that. If I did anything, it'd be poetry. I thought about adding poetry as a value for patrons at a certain level. Like you can get a poem from me. Like maybe I'll make that I'll put that in for the $10 patron. The $10 on up, you can request a 5-line stanza from me. You give me your 5 favorite words, I'll write a poem for you.
You're good at it too.
I am. I'm skilled.
Yeah.
Which is not to say I'm skilled at drawing, but you might remember in 2011, if you remembered me back then, I was experimenting on Etsy. I sold 2 series of what I call dots and lines drawings, and decided over the weekend, just yesterday, as a matter of fact, to draw a series of 5 dots and lines. These are original drawings. I have not autographed them or signed them, but I will when they sell. And I say that because there are 3 here. I did 5. And within hours of posting them to my Etsy shop, 2 of them have already been purchased. This is original, quote-unquote, art from me. And some people are upset. They're like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. What? Like, who are you to say what someone can and cannot do? If you want it, cool, you can have it. If you don't, move along. That's it. It's like walking into a grocery store and yelling at someone for, buying a banana. You can't buy the banana! What if I want the banana? No, you can't! That banana's worthless! But I want the banana. You would not slap a banana out of somebody's hands. People do that online, though, all the time. They slap bananas out of people's hands all the time.
Someone mentioned the postcard.
Enough banana slapping. What? Postcard? What about the postcards? Oh, Diana and I have decided to autograph postcards separately when people pick these up from the Etsy shop. 3 more. Original, no prints, no duplicates, and can be customized to your liking. I mean, it's just a simple doodle. Now, here's where it gets kind of geeky, and this is like, Chris, they're just dots and lines. This is a metaphor for my life. This drawing, this original Chris Pirillo drawing is a metaphor for my life. I like things that are uniform. And I do. I straighten things up all the time. But I try to create order and inevitably give rise to imperfections. These are not perfect lines. I mean, if you look up really close, you can see they're not perfect because I try. I try to create things the best way that I can, but inevitably know that perfection is going to be elusive. And so each one of these is original and a metaphor to my life. So there we go, 3 more. And the reason now, before you guys go off half-cocked or full-cocked or partially, no one just don't cock at all. Okay, so the reason why I decided to do this is I've got my eye on something for Diana. So I'm going to be taking what happens or what comes from selling these drawings, and it's going to go to a gift for Diana. So in many ways, you're bringing a little bit of me into your life that's original, and you're helping Diana get something that she otherwise would not have had. So it's kind of like it's potentially a win-win. All right. So speaking of win-win, let me go ahead and float through the list of names for these patrons to give them credit. As I break a sweat, it's hot. Hang on. I'm gonna strip live on YouTube. Oh, so much better. Woo! Okay. The latest Chrome release, not beta, not dev, but latest Chrome release now enables OK Google voice search by default. Launch Chrome, the default tab page, and just say OK Google, and it'll go plonk. And then you say, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? And it'll go pring. And it should ask you African or European. Well, who knows? So that's now enabled if you didn't know. And there's going to be a WWDC live stream this Monday at 10 a.m. Apple's already got the page set up, so you don't have to worry about going through any other website to look at the live stream. You can follow Twitter if you want, but you can watch the keynote happening live. And then much like we've done in the past, I will be sitting here in my chair, streaming live onto YouTube for everybody. That'll be that day's TLDR, talking about what Apple is announcing in real time. I will not be rebroadcasting the stream. I do not have the rights to do that. I'll have my ears on, or my cans on, my ears. Cans, that's what they call them, they're cans. And then, of course, streaming that out as I'm watching what you may be watching at home as well. And I'm thinking about doing the same thing, only just recording audio for like a director's cut commentary for like movies that I enjoy. Someone had asked, and I think I brought this up last week. If not, I know I just vlogged it. Someone asked if I do like my commentary for Star Wars, watching Star Wars and then telling people what's going through my mind and just giving people the audio of what I'm saying so they could watch Star Wars at home, but instead of watching Star Wars, they get my commentary like I'm sitting right next to them as they're watching Star Wars and I'm talking through the movie. So it's kind of like you can watch a movie with me. And granted, it's more like quote-unquote director's cut. Geek cut. I don't know what we call it. Nerd cut. Annoying nerd in your ear cut. I know some people, cut! Google has been busy. They have given the world the opportunity to download VirusTotal Uploader for OS X in the hopes of catching more malware available for OS X. It is not impervious to issues that have plagued other operating systems, shall we say. So VirusTotal Uploader for OS X is now available for a free download if you want to report malware and possibly stamp it out. And if you like Google for one reason or another, that would probably be the tool to use. By the way, again, to remind everybody, I've got the links for all this stuff in the video description. We're doing tons of giveaways on deals.lockergnome.com. Free software, free stuff, left and right there. I know some people just want free everything, but hang on, I can't do everything for free, guys and gals. But I have done enough for today on the free stuff. I also purchased this. It's a talking Darth Vader.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan.
And his lightsaber lights up too. Okay, that's enough. He listens to me. That's not a voice command. I just knew that in timing, that's what would happen. I am keeping him in the box. I've already unboxed this version. This is the same one. I got two. The reason why is because I'm thinking about potentially either eBaying or selling or maybe even giving away that Darth Vader. I wouldn't say that it has amazing articulation. You can turn the head. You can kind of swivel the arms. You move the legs around. They do shift. It was difficult to kind of get him to stand. The cape is heavy, but Vader's very top heavy, this particular action figure. But as far as action figures are concerned, it's one of the better Vaders to get with not a very high price. So if you were looking to get this and you can't find it at your local Disney store or you didn't want to get it online, I will be selling it, possibly, or giving it away. I haven't decided yet. I bought one to keep in storage, and Diana was there. She said, we should get another one, maybe, hold on to it forever. I'm like, okay, I can not hold on to it forever. I mean, hold on to it until it's worth more than what, if I can sell it and make more than what I bought it for, I mean, it's a collectible. Someone actually on Facebook today said, Disney? Why does it say Disney? I'm like, and I know this guy's participated in threads. I know he's watching the stuff that I'm doing. I'm like, really? I mean, this has like been news for how many years now? Insane. So I didn't exactly educate him. I think he educated himself, but yes, Star Wars is now pretty much owned by Disney. One of the bigger bits of news that you probably need to be paying attention to, if only for one reason, and that's your security, whether you use an Apple ID or not. Overnight, quite a few Apple devices had been hijacked, specifically in Australia. And there have been other places in the region, including New Zealand, that were apparently hijacked. Effectively, the phone, someone would pick up their phone and it said like a warning message, and like, hey, you need to PayPal me, and I will give you your phone back. Well, so it was basically they were hijacked. What this was most likely was a password guess. So let's say the eBay user base was compromised, or any other user base was compromised. If that ID, if that email address is the same on one account as another, and the password's the same on one account or another, this could be the reason why the violation happened. If you use the same password on more than one site, that's a problem. You shouldn't do that. More importantly, and this is what I wanted to speak to, I've referred to this several times over, and I wish more sites would do this. Two-factor authentication, also known as 2FA. You should absolutely enable it. You can on your Apple ID devices, and you should. because it adds one more layer of security that would make it difficult, if not impossible, for something like this to happen. So if these users had been educated, or had been listening, or had been paying attention, or had gone through that step, it wouldn't have happened. The two-factor authentication is key if it's an option available for you in any account. And most major accounts these days have it, like Facebook, Twitter, Google, Apple. PayPal kind of has one, although they need to do a better job with it. So, once you know that 2FA is available, you should absolutely enable it. What, baby?
Oh, your screensaver kicked on. Is that okay?
Yeah, I kicked it on.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we already ran through the list of credits, so I'm good to move on. Thank you to patron Samuel Tremblay. He was the first one to report it to me last night, and I tweeted it out saying, hey, I bet you every Apple website in the U.S. is going to cover this tomorrow morning, and indeed they did. It was pretty big news, but those users could have saved themselves a lot of pain by enabling 2FA. You should too. And I'm telling you right now, because you wish you would have, should something wrong ever happen. Via patron Stephen Palmer, Microsoft has now warned against Windows XP security update, quote unquote, not hack exactly. Oh, someone just started following me on Etsy. Cool. Hang on. Sorry, keeping text messages here. So apparently some users are getting around the Windows XP end of life by applying security patches for newer versions of Windows that might kind of work, but no compatibility testing had been done. So if you've got Windows XP and you're applying security patches meant for other versions or newer versions of Windows, you should probably not do that. Because, yes, they might kind of work, but they may not be fully tested and they may break compatibility. I think a lot of people are taking a devil-may-care approach to Windows XP. They don't really see any reason to upgrade if the system's working and their software works. It's just an additional cost. I think eventually Windows XP will be phased out, but I think it's probably going to take a massive security bug for a lot of people to say, okay, that's it, I'm done with XP. For that safety and security of not having to worry about being an Achilles heel. So that was from Stephen Palmer. I got the link for that. And then Stephen also sent a note that Microsoft built 20,000 Surface Minis before canceling the project. There was going to be a Surface Mini. That, I think it might have done well, but I'm glad they kind of doubled down on the Surface Pro and went that direction. We'll see how well that does. If they would have released the Surface Mini anywhere north of, what is it for the iPad Mini, like $329, or for the Nexus 7, what is it, $200 or whatever, if they would have gone anywhere north of that, I think it would have been a pretty big concern. So the idea of having, been very targeted in terms of what they decided to launch, I think it was very very wise for Microsoft to put it on hold. If you can't go big, go home. And really, they went big, with the Surface Pro. But I think the Surface Mini could work well, but I just don't know. I think the bigger problem is that I think a majority of consumers are moving on from Windows. I really do. And I don't know if Microsoft has that memo yet. I just don't think Windows is the big driver anymore in terms of adopting, a new computer system. So, iOS is a pretty powerful platform. But let's say you do use Windows. You got to check this out. It's called My Echo App. And you check it out, myechoapp.com. The link is in the video description. This is what it looks like. My Echo, iOS dictation for Windows. So effectively, you can use your iOS device and dictate to a Windows computer. I found out about this, and I think it's actually Scott Hanselman's product. And because he's been tweeting about it. Yeah, co-founder. It's fantastic. So if you have an iOS device and a Windows device, you can dictate using your iPhone and say blah, 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 blah. Because I doubt you would dictate from your iPad to a Windows computer. It's a little weird. But, I don't think it's as weird. My iPhone, okay, blah, 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 and then it goes to Windows. So there's, I would say, probably the best blending of iOS and Windows that I've ever heard of, ever seen. And yes, I do believe it is free, and you can try it online. You can download it for free, but $1.99 to unlock unlimited dictation. So $2 for a dictation app. You got to remember, I came from the period of time where it was, how long was it? It was, God, over 10 years ago. You could buy dictation software for Windows. It'd be like $300. Well, so $2 drop in the bucket for dictation software on your smartphone if it's iOS that goes over to Windows. Perfect. So check it out. Scott, I've been following for a number of years. My Echo is the name of the app. It's at myechoapp.com. Sometimes the notes I leave for myself are, I know what I was thinking when I wrote it, but then when I actually read it out loud, it's like, oh, that's kind of awkward. One more thing I want to mention today, and then down 20 days, 20 free comics. You can start getting free comics every day through Comixology. I've got the link again in the video description. They've already been doing it for 2 days. This is the second day, so you can get a free comic added to your account. Might as well. It's a free account, 20 free comics, comics that you may have heard of, may not have heard of. Just, expand your horizons, and it's free. I was like, wow, cool. I'm glad I found out on the first day. Otherwise, I would have been disappointed. Expose yourself to things that you're not familiar with, because that's how you're going to expand your mind and your understanding of the universe around you or not around you or somewhere in between. I've got to close out, but in another half hour, I'm going to be recording another video. What would you do with iOS 8? And this is going to be published in the channel for everybody. I do 5 What Would You Do videos every week. 4 of them are exclusive to patrons. This one today, Monday. Well, I guess, it isn't Monday, is it? How do we handle that? I'm not sure I'm going to handle that now. 4 of them got to be exclusive to patrons. But anyway, I'm going to be doing that video in this channel, and it'll be done. That's all I can say about it. I just don't know where, when, or how. But if you want to know what I think, then you need to watch that video. What would you do with iOS 8? So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks again for remembering to like, share, comment, subscribe. Watch more of our videos right now. Don't knock any bananas out of anybody's hands. Thanks for enabling updates by clicking the gear icon next to a subscribe button in one of our YouTube channel pages. That helps to let you know that we've published something new. But again, I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you watching this deep into the video. And washing, too. I appreciate you washing. Even though I can't smell you, I just assume that others around you appreciate that as well. So at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.